morning, my fellow Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Brother Chad. Why do people love movies? It's not the action scenes. It's not the fight scenes. It's not the graphics. It's the stories. The stories are what we connect to, which touch our emotions, which draw us in to whatever movie we're watching. Stories have been told for a long time throughout history to impart lessons and to help grow the next generation. So I'm going to tell you a story today that I hope you can learn from and take on and pass on. The box with no lid. There once was a little person who lived in a box. He knew his box from wall to wall, from corner to corner. All he knew was his box. In his box, he watched the same TV, ate the same food, and looked at the same mirror every day. When he went through his life and all he knew was that box, he would sit in a corner and think, what about on TV? Is that real? Why isn't that my life? And occasionally he would go through his day-to-day and end up in the mirror at night. And he would say, is that it? He would touch his face. Is this all that's real? He would see himself in his box. But one day, he was cleaning from wall to wall, from corner to corner. And by chance, he tripped and fell, slamming his head on the floor. Lights out. When he came to, he opened his eyes. And he saw something he had never seen before. He saw a bald eagle flying across a blue sky. And he realized he had never raised his eyes above the four walls of his box. So that got him to thinking, wow, there is more than my box. So the rest of that day he laid on the floor, looking up at the sky. He watched the sun go across and the moon to follow, surrounded by glistening, distant stars. And he thought, I'm going to get out of this box. So the next morning, he woke up, he jumped on the bed, he stood on his chair. He couldn't reach the top of the box, though. So what he did was he constructed a Tetris-style ladder built from all his furniture to finally climb out into a new space. When he did that, all he did was realize was, this is just a bigger box. But this box had a library, it had a gym, it had a lake, and a grocery store. Excited for all the new things, he ran around trying everything, reading books, trying recipes, lifting weights. He even learned how to fish. He went around loving everything he could, trying everything he could. He got to the point where he realized, this is amazing. I would have never known that if I stayed in my box. But time went on. He read every book. He tried all the recipes. He lifted all the weights. And he came to the point where, is that it? He would go over to the lake and look down at his reflection. And he noticed that his eyes were widening, his shoulders were broadening, and his limbs were stretching further than he could ever have expected in his old box. This new space was allowing him to grow. But one day while he was looking down, reflecting, thinking, really, this is it? He saw something fly over top in his reflection. It was a plane. Something he had only seen in a book that he read in the library. This plane soared over the skies right over one of his walls in his new box. He said, there must be more. So with all the new knowledge and strength that he had gained in this new space, he built a staircase with the mindset that the next person that's in this box, I'm going to make it easier for them to get out and see more. So when he got out of the new box, plopped down into this new space, what did he realize? It's just a bigger box. But this box had an ocean with a ship, a mountain with snow. It had a jungle with animals. But it also had a village with people. Ecstatic, excited, he ran around trying to engulf himself in everything. He climbed the mountain. He sailed the ocean. He hunted in the forest. And he engulfed himself in the village where he worked and learned from all the people who were from their own little boxes. Years went on. He continued to grow, continued to learn and experience life. One day he was sitting on the beach thinking, wow, look how far I've come. Look at many experiences I've had since I left my little box, which at this point seems about this small compared to where he is now. So as he's looking up, reflecting on his life, he hears a loud explosion. Boom! He turns around and looks. It's a space shuttle shooting out of the stratosphere, straight into the stars. Those same stars that he saw that fateful night laying on his floor. And in that moment he said, there's always more. My Toastmasters, what I want you to get from this story is that there's always someone that you're coming to who had their little box that they grew up in and lived in, just like you did. See, you have to be open to new perspectives, new learning, new teachings, new knowledge, to allow yourself to get out of your box and grow. So you can look back and think, wow, look how far I've come. Lastly, as you do go into these new spaces, I want you to make sure, be conscious, never allow your lid to close. Because if you do, you'll never see the greatest you. I want you all to take this as a final word. Look in, look up, and fly.